Hi YouTube, welcome to my garage. This is Cole at the Schwers and Gears channel. You're looking at the top end components for my engine for my 1940 Chevy Coupe. In my previous video, I briefly mentioned that we're building what is commonly referred to as a 377 Chevy small block. It's a 400 small block with a 3.5 inch stroke. So in all reality, it's about 380 cubic inches. Um, First off, we've got a wind tunnel ram. It's been all smoothed out, polished, very nice. Great friend of mine, Kenny, from work. He's a master machinist, and he did a great job resurfacing my carburetor mounting surfaces. Excuse me. Um, Drilled and tapped some new holes. Got everything squared up with the use of this spacer. Um, Also welded some porosity holes up in one of the intake runners, but it doesn't really come up on camera. Anyway, what will be going atop this intake manifold are two Holley 600 vacuum secondaries. We've modified them fairly extensively. This is my first time doing all this stuff. These are almost ready for Cerakote. As you can see, this one has uncut vents, so I got to cut that one down before I can finish drilling and tapping some of the bleed screws on there. But this one is just about done. So what we've done is we've milled the choke horn off. A good friend of mine at work did that for me, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew, if you're seeing this. We've drilled and tapped. I basically went through all the carburetor videos on YouTube that I could find as to how to set up my transfer slot restrictors, my idle feed restrictors, and my power valve channel restrictors. So we've got some drilled and tapped holes here on the metering block. Similarly, we've got some here and here. So that would be your idle feed restrictor and your power valve channel restrictors. Additionally, we have some Allstate carburetors boosters here. These are annular boosters, as you can see. And I'm hoping this is going to help atomization in my non-heated tunnel ram intake manifold. This is going to be a driver. It's not going to be a race car, even though it might look pretty racy. Pretty cool, that's the goal. But I wanted to get usable mileage and be totally streetable. That's the end goal. I previously mentioned as well, we've drilled and tapped 1032 on all the air bleeds. So your high and low speed on your primary and secondaries. So that, we'll see that again in a later video. I'm going to attempt to Cerakote these. You can see they're already sandblasted, as are the bowls and the other components. I think I'm going to end up buying new base plates. If any of you guys have an opinion, let me know. But I think buying new base plates is just going to be the way to go as far as refinishing and the shaft seals and whatnot. So we will see those later. Really exciting today is I picked up my 186 factory cylinder heads from Clay Smith Cams today. They did a beautiful job of porting these things. They are, I'm stoked. I'm super happy with them. We've got some double old school style valve springs. We're running a hydraulic flat tappet cam in this motor. It's not going to be crazy gnarly. I didn't spend the extra cost on rollers. I know there's kind of an epidemic of people having bad experiences with flat tappet cams, but we're going to be extra careful. We're going to run a lot of zinc in the oil. We're going to run brake and oil. It should be okay. Back to these heads. So they did their full race porting on them, and they're beautiful. Let's take a look. Here's the exhaust ports. Kind of hard to see in here. Maybe I can grab a light, and we can see, kind of see, the very nice job they did on those exhaust ports. Very nicely done. We've got 7/16 rocker studs. We've got guide plates. These are more inexpensive. They're by a company called Elgin, if you're not familiar. I asked the guys at the machine shop. I basically said if they're really not good, don't use them, and they seem to be okay with them. So I'm sure I'll be fine. The intake ports, we'll take a look here. Equally as nice. Very nicely done. As you can see, I'm no expert on head porting. Read a lot of stuff, watched a lot of videos, like I'm sure you guys have, and I think these are going to be really nice. So once again, I went with those Elgin stainless valves. They're swirl polished, they're undercut, they're a 202/16, so just what would have come in these heads. And those of you who aren't familiar, a 186 is basically a double hump, but it's got the accessory holes, or holes on the outside, I should say, for accessory mounting. So it's these were made in 1969 and 1970. Kind of an old school vibe to go along with the rest of the engine. What I wanted to talk about more specifically is this discoloration you see here. So they're old, they're cast iron heads. Unfortunately, when I got them, they'd eaten a valve. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but at some point in their life, it ate an exhaust valve. I'm sure a bunch of metal got in the chamber, and the piston just pounded that metal into the quench area, and really did a number on it. So I didn't want to trash the heads. I consulted the machine shop. I kind of asked around, asked some welder friends, and I was able to determine that with the use of this Blue Demon high nickel rod, we could sort of fill in those holes. So we did fill in those holes or divots made by you know, the engine previously eating a valve and damaging the quench area. And when we did that, it created, because it's a high nickel rod, basically like a stainless, it made it very, very hard. The guys at Clay Smith were concerned that their cutter wasn't going to be able to do it. With a little bit of hand dressing, they were able to get it close enough, and then they were able to deck the head. So it's all nice and flat. None of the repair was on a gasketed surface, so that's just exclusively on the quench area that's going to be within the chamber. So it's pretty darn nice. I'm happy with the repair. They were happy with the repair. It seems that it worked out well for everybody. Now you can see some of the really nice chamber work they did here, unshrouding those valves, cleaning all that up. Just really, really nice. So I'm very excited to get this engine together. I'm very excited to see these things in use, and see what they'll do. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty stoked on all this stuff. It's coming along nicely. It takes a lot of time, but I think it's going to be worth it. Thanks, guys. I'm out.